Laura Fink. Laura, great to see you. So I know you just heard Elizabeth and some of the numbers that she went through there. At this point, does RFK Jr., as a third-party candidate, really pose more of a threat to Republicans or to the current president, the presumptive Democratic nominee?
I think that's a parlor game we'll be playing all the way up until next year's election, because the answer is we don't know. The question is, obviously his last name is Kennedy, and he has some sort of left-wing policies, but he also, with his anti-vaccine status, and he has also been leaning into some MAGA qualities. We do know that he is funded largely by right-wing investors, donors that traditionally give to very conservative candidates, MAGA candidates. And so you can bet that where their money is that he takes away from Biden. But I do think Biden's job will be fundamentally to keep the contest between he and Donald Trump, regardless of which other names are appearing on the ballot. And that means communicating directly with voters and persuading them that a vote for one of these third-party candidates is effectively a vote for Trump.
Okay, so let's assume that it does end up being a Biden-Trump rematch in 2024. We already know Biden has won that matchup in the past, obviously go back to 2020. What, if anything, would he need to do differently this time? Because, again, we're 4 years out from 2020 at that point.
We are. I think what we're seeing, and you see it worldwide, not just in the U.S., where you see leaders underwater with their electorates. This is true of leaders from Canada to Japan to France to the U.K., different political perspectives, but all underwater. And that's because voters everywhere are a little bit hungover and depressed from the pandemic. And that includes Biden's base. Young voters, it includes Black voters, voters that have shifted and expressed their frustration in these most recent polls. So gathering up that base and ensuring that they enter their ticket for Biden, that they show up on election day, is his challenge. And it is, I don't want to underestimate it. It is a significant one, but he isn't really working on the persuadable voters. His focus needs to be, especially right now, on those voters within his base.
All right, and today, Laura, it was another day in court for the former president. He is facing dozens of charges. As you know, it's a very different landscape than in 2020. So how does that change, potentially, the presidential race if we do see that matchup?
Well, right now, we know that President Biden would like this to not be a referendum simply on his 4 years in office, but a comparison to his alternative, to the other guy on the ballot, who looks to be from the Republican primary, former President Donald Trump. So he wants it to be a contrast election. And those courtroom scenes remind voters of the reality of Donald Trump. He has not been in the news every single day, saturating the way we saw for 4 years. And the question will be, do voters really want to go back to that? Chaos and criminality potential, etc. So that will play a role as he is defined by these courtroom battles. But I will say this, that also may help engender loyalty and fire in the bellies of Donald Trump's base. So a lot of countervailing forces in these discussions.
Absolutely. And we only have a little bit of time left. I do want to ask this because I feel like it's something we hear constantly. If we do see this matchup again, how much do you think age is going to factor into things? Because, again, they're only 4 years apart.
That's right. Neither of them are spring chickens. And I think that it's going to be hard, especially when we see President Trump making gaffe after gaffe on the campaign trail, forgetting names of world leaders, et cetera. I think he's also sort of prone to mixing his messages. We saw him state a desire to repeal the Affordable Care Act, or often known as Obamacare, which is deeply popular with voters. So the question is, on Trump's side, can they keep him in line as always? And on Biden's side, how often can they get him out in front of voters and show that he has vigor and that he has the stamina to compete in a campaign and to be president for the next 4 years?
Certainly a lot of time left. We will see what happens. Democratic strategist Laura Fink, thank you. Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find News Nation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.